This video is going to be a video about how to find a network when you have absolutely no documentation. So what we're going to do is we're just going to show some of the commands that you can use. The scenario is you've been given that you need to document this network and you have no access to the server room or the network closet and you have no documentation. So you have to figure out, based on basically Telnet, how you're going to determine what's on this network. But fortunately, you do know it's all Cisco products. So what we can tell, the way I would go about doing this is I could log into this PC and then I just run ipconfig. I just start off doing this. Now I know my address, I know what network I'm on, and I would document that. So here's one way of documenting it. So I found this great PDF, and it has these, let's get it stretched out here, device tables. So what we're going to do here basically is go through, and every time we find a router, we write down its host name, what model it is, what iOS version, which we'll get in how to do this. The interface, IP address, the subnet mask, connects to device, connects to interface. And we can go through and do this for routers. We can do this for switches, trunk ports, all of this fun stuff that we know we can do with Cisco products. So that's kind of a brief. That's one way you could do it. And the other way you could do it is to boot up your handy dandy copy of Microsoft Visio. Let me get mine booted up here. Dun dun dun, Microsoft Visio, and I'll just pull this in here. We're not going to be able to see all of it, but you'll kind of get the idea. So we can do create a detailed diagram, and then we can begin diagramming our network out. And we can get some cool Cisco things. You know, we can make our diagram. We can get it, get it so that it all, is drawn out here on a beautiful Visio diagram, and then we can share that diagram in PDF form with anybody who needs it. Alright, so back to this. So, now, very first thing we do. So now we know that our default gateway, so there's a router at this IP address. So, Cisco's recommendation is that you ping that address to make sure that it works. And then and give me 1 second here. Okay. Alright, so then we can do several commands here. So we can start with, and just do a show run. And we know that it's running iOS 12.3. It has a secret password. Has spanning tree enabled. We have, let's just pull it all up. We have Ethernet connections. And we have a .10.1.100 network, a 1.10 network, a 120, a 1.30, and a 0.0 network. Alright, and it looks like EIGRP is enabled on the 10 network. IP is classless. And we can connect via Telnet. Then we could do a show IP route. Oh, so now we know that the 1.10 network, 1.20, 1.30, and 1.100 networks are directly connected. What else can we see? The 10.3, so these are all the different networks that are available. There is a 10.2 network out there. There's a 10.3 network out there as well. and there's no gateway of last resort. So let's do a show interfaces. You know, this kind of gives us an idea, you know, more details. Everything's up. I actually prefer the show interface brief. Oops. There we go. Show IP interface brief. And this tells me what the IP address is. So this is kind of a central router because it is the gateway for this network, this network, this network, this network. Interesting. So this is... And then we can also do a show version because we want to know what kind of version we're running here. So we're 12.3, which one we're running so that we can know if we need to plan to update this kind of stuff. And we can do a show CDP neighbors. So we can see that there is a main distribution and a core. And we actually both know that these are switches because we have compatibility codes. So what I would do is I would have documented all this information, and then I would do a telnet. Actually, let's do a show CDP neighbors detail. That's the one I'm looking for. Alright, so now we know the IP address of the core switch, and we know the IP address of the other switch as well, up here, the main distribution switch. So let's go to the main distribution switch. So what I would do is we know that this... We'll copy that, and then let's go ahead and ping that address and see if we can get there. And wait for it. We can't. Oh, there it goes. So we did. Looks like Packet Tracer just didn't want to let us through. So let's telnet to it. Alrighty, and then we'll do the same thing over again. Show run. And we know it's 12.2, so probably needs an upgrade. And it looks like it has switch port mode trunk. So we know this is the central switch that's trunking out to these three. So that means there's at least 3 devices hooked up to it. Looks like it's on VLAN 1. So let's do the show IP brief. So we know that those 3 are the only 3 are up, it looks like. Yep, and VLAN. Do show CDP neighbors, and now we got main access 1, main access 2, main. Router, switch and switch. So then we'd write all this down, document it, and then of course we could do a show CDP neighbors detail and get the IP address for main. But we've already connected to main, so we know we have main documented already. But if we go back up here, we see that we have, let's do this one, we have this 2960, main access 1. So 10.1.100.3. So we'll copy that out. We'll exit back out. We'll paste this in, ping it. Wait for it to ping together. And we see it pops up. So now we can telnet to it. And we go through the same thing again. Show run. Trunk VLAN. Oh, we found some computers, or we found something. Alright, so let's do show CDP neighbor. Main distribution. Alright, so now we figured out that this switch only connects to the main distribution switch, and it has computers or servers or something plugged into it. We have 3 different VLANs here. Let's do this one. Show VLAN. There we go. 10 is the admin, 20 is the sales, 30 is the manufacturing. So now we've got an idea what computers. So if we go up here, so we know these are both admin VLAN, and we know that these are both sales VLAN, and we know that these are both computers in the manufacturing VLAN. So again, we're kind of doing this on the fly. We're doing this in the dark because we really don't know. So let's take and, because Cisco's so nice, if we click on this, we go ahead and pop it up. So how do we do this? We went here, and then we went to here, and then we went to here. Okay, so basically what we've done is we've basically just poked around this part of the network, and that took 10 minutes, 15 minutes to do, just to go here to here to here. And that doesn't even include figuring out computers and all of that. So we still have the entire north, the entire south. I mean, it's very time consuming to do it this way. It's much easier just to have the keys go in, start poking around and looking at things. But that's kind of a brief idea of how you would go through setting up and trying to figure out your network if you have absolutely no documentation on it. So thank you for viewing, and have a nice day.